Right, there it goes. Let me go back to the chat. Right. So I think the simple truth is what had happened has redefined what we consider to be diplomacy. And then to add, and if you read the articles, if you add insult to injury, they then also kicked him out of the White House. They told him to leave. And it was this kind of behavior. I mean, how do you speak to another world leader like that? And to me, this guy, Zelensky, is a hero. I mean, what he's done in that war and how he has just guided a nation through that insanity is phenomenal. Any comments from your side? I mean, this is the remarkable dressing down. What gives one person, one leader, the right to dress down another? What was interesting is this, okay, is not to take the bait. But how do you not take the bait when people are offensive, when they're on the attack? And you are a leader who has taken a country through a serious period of war. I mean, that guy is a toughie. And I know he's a little guy, and Trump commented about how underdressed he was. The day we worry about what you look like in terms of dress when it comes to leadership, I really would start crying. Yeah, Georgia, absolutely. And that's what I wanted you guys to do. I mean, look at that, the kind of rubbish that they did to him. It's insane. And then I shared this one as well. Yeah, I think what the world has done is just realize where Trump's alliances are. And I think the simple truth is he's aligned himself with Putin. I think what happens with authoritarian despots. Oh gosh, somebody's got no audio. Does everyone have audio?
We can hear you, Doc.
Thank you. Sorry, it's something on your side. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Georgia Jade. Absolutely. Oh, I don't know what all this stuff is. So the simple truth is the world stood up together, and the way Keir's and Starmer greeted Zelensky was astonishing. You know, was this warm welcome to an ally, which he is. I mean, he has been an ally to the US for a long time. What was also interesting was some of the consequences, and one of the consequences was that Vance and his family went skiing, I think, somewhere in Colorado. And in Colorado, where he was, the locals had lined the streets with placards in support of Zelensky and berating this honestly uncouth human being for his behavior. And then obviously on, I think yesterday or Saturday, the European leaders got together and met to decide a plan of action. The worrying thing is that they still believe America is required, which, yeah, I can't comment about that. But the truth is, America, the rules have changed in terms of who they support and not support. Anything else in terms of leadership when we look at those events? Who didn't see the actual who hasn't seen the interview yet? Who hasn't seen the interview? Has everyone seen the interview? Now, why is this doing this now? Every time you type, it pops as a message. Yeah, so just go to YouTube and search Trump Zelensky if you want the full interview. Yeah, well worth watching, guys. Yeah, TikTok went absolutely haywire in terms of that because, that's the kind of clickbait that you want. And Trump's comment, this makes for good television. That to me was just disdainful. Makes for good TV. This is real life. This isn't TV. These are people's lives that you're talking about. I mean, people are being killed. Yeah, shocking, Kesh. Absolutely shocking. It is bullies supported by a bully supported by another bully, and bullying a person that is there in good faith. I was blown away. Now, the reason I shared that, guys, was just to give us a sense of where we are in the world when it comes to leadership. So I don't know where we stopped previously. Can someone remind me? Because normally this saves, but it's not done it. Oh, no, we haven't started because we did the assignment last week. Hey, so let's look at leadership and what leadership means. So again, I I have this real disdain for this person. I saw somebody on TikTok describe him as the orange Cheeto with some colorful language mixed into the orange Cheeto comment. And then our friend Elon Musk. What do you think Musk's intentions are there? What are Musk's intentions? Go for it, Mivation.
Honestly, I think Musk is on a power trip for. I mean, he has enough money. All he needs is control and the emphasis on this new technology with regards to green environment. He's on that righteous path right now. So it's more influence. He has more influence on increasing his demand as opposed to doing what is needed for the benefit of America.
But the problem is that Trump doesn't believe in climate change. He believes there's global cooling. He really is a climate change denier. And then on top of that, he also believes in drill, baby, drill. So he's canceling all green technologies, which I find quite anomalous in terms of that relationship, because this guy is about green technology and Tesla, and this guy is the opposite. He wants carbons. He wants to drill for oil. He wants natural gases. He doesn't want to move towards a carbon neutral future, which was disturbing beyond belief.
In saying that as well, with regards to that last article that I read today, there's a lot of focus. So the way I see Trump so I've been following all this information on social media as well, especially TikTok, with regards to all the interviews that have been happening with all these leaders and stuff. So I think Trump is more or less trying to pull back in all the charitable work that America has been doing and is looking for excuses to do that and go on a power trip against the BRICS nation. And the strongest person to do that with right now is Elon Musk.
But he aligns with Russia, which is part of the BRIC nations.
Who, Elon Musk?
No, Russia is part of the BRICS nations.
Yeah, Russia is part of the BRICS nation, and I think that's where they focus. I don't think it's the whole of the BRICS nation. I think that he just got it out for China.
Yeah. Can I also just, well, Nadia, you absolutely get that. But the truth is there are many alternatives. There are many more jobs in going green than there is in sticking to burning carbons. Hey?
True story, but China is the leading country in terms of manufacturing and with this new technology that they're coming out, especially in the automotive industry, that 25% hike on taxes on imports into America focus directly on that, because majority of the world's products, including now the automotive industry, is coming straight from China. So who is he hurting actually in terms of crippling China, in terms of crippling that 25% import-export situation?
Yeah, just for me, I think they're following the Russian model. Russia is based on oligarchy. And who do we have attending the inauguration? The wealthiest people in the world. And you don't invite what would have in the past been your allies. I find this very, very strange, guys.
Because he has no focus on Africa as a whole. And he has no focus on Africa at the moment, and a lot of people are focusing on Africa because of its rich resources. So if you're not going for something that's going to benefit you or the rest of the world, what is your intention? Your intention is focused on China. You're trying to cripple China.
Yeah, and you're not going to. China has realigned itself magically with the rest of the world. So they're not going to touch China, I can promise you. And also remember, it's not China who pays the import duties. I thought it was 10% on Chinese goods at this stage. It's not China. It's the importers who pay the import duties. It doesn't
Correct.
affect China. It is his own people, the people who distribute in America that pay for the 10%. It doesn't affect China. I don't know about that, Tanya. I don't know
and there was
about that.
there was another topic that came up about fuel and how the BRICS nation, or well, the East, were looking to change the currency of fuel, the currency of how you buy fuel, in terms of not going as per like liter per dollar, but they were going to change it to the yen. And everybody
Or
on the BRICS side,
to the BRICS currency. Remember, the BRICS wanted to launch its own currency as well. Yeah.
So I think that idea came out directly from China. So that's why his focus and emphasis is solely on China.
Yeah. I didn't know that, Tanya. That is very strange, because anyone who says that stuff to Trump would immediately be kicked out of the House. I mean, he doesn't stand for contradiction. Eh? That is very, very strange. Junaid, I mean, that is such a wonderful summary. That is such a wonderful summary, because Trump, and I can bet you as well as Musk. Well, Musk was bullied at school, and this is almost a response to that kind of behavior. So when we look at what leadership is, it is influence. And it's that your ability to influence other people. Now, the common goal in terms of an organization will always be vision and mission statement. Can I just see who knows their organization's vision? Because everything in an organization, every single action that we take is geared towards the vision. And remember, the job of the leader is to create that vision and then communicate the vision and align people with that vision. Who here knows, and without cheating, your organization's vision? Go, Mondley.
I'm not reading it anywhere.
You are cheating now.
I'm not.
Go
Let me
for
put
it,
let me put on my
Masondo.
let me put on my camera. Good afternoon, everyone. So I work for Massmart. You know that Massmart was actually acquired by Walmart International about a couple of years ago. Now they own 100% of Massmart, and Massmart is now a private company. But recently, the vision changed, which is now, if it reads as the most, sorry, something has just distracted me.
Wait for it, guys.
No, I'm not. I'm actually looking
I'm
there. So something just distracted me. To be the trusted omni-channel retailer in Africa. So I think that's exactly what it is.
That's a wonderful.
It's just a short vision, and it doesn't say about a lot of things, but it just say the most trusted omni retail channel in Africa, and by doing so, saving people money and helping them live better.
Oh, that's wonderful. Anyone else? Yeah, you can switch your camera off, Mondley. I trust you. Yeah, I'm not so worried about the values. What is the vision, Georgia? Neil, your hand is up. Go first.
Yeah, so ours in my company is to nourish the nation with premium chicken products in it.
Okay, very cool. It's good that you know it, because a lot of people don't know the vision. Okay. Oh, I dig that, Sarah. What company is that? Put your hand down, Neil.
Hi, Doc. It is
Hi.
for Redefined Properties.
Okay, very, very cool. Very cool. That is a nice vision, actually. Okay, so Georgia, you know the values, not the vision. That's a good vision. Well, I quite like Sarah's as well. That's impressive. Nadia, go for it.
So at Specsavers, the vision is to be the leader in affordable eye care. We've got like a lot of cash package deals, and our prices with frames are quite a big range. It goes from designer to more affordable. And I think so far that I know of, Specsavers is the one optometry that has the most stores out of everybody in South Africa. There's over 300 stores in the country. And I
Very,
know,
very cool.
yes.
Okay, guys, can I tell you the one thing you can take just up to now is to go learn your company's vision. Because if you think of it logically, and oh dear Lord, people are saying it already because paint is about to open. And, you know, we know that it's the job of a leader to create the vision. And I just want to try and find my pen again. Oh, I wish I could do this so properly. Oh, my word. Okay, sorry. I can't get it to work. So why can't I get it to work? Hold on a second. But everything in an organization is supposed to be, you know, if I was now a dishonest lecturer, I would tell you that I actually had it plugged in, but I've actually not even got the pad plugged in. And this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you drink before you come to class. I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay. Sorry, let's just the Vince. Yeah, that's so sad. I feel so embarrassed. Here we go again. That's minus 25%, Nath. Let me find where my pen is here. I'm not having any luck. Okay, so this is it. But if you think of the vision, I mean, the vision sits up there, and what a vision does, and remember, it's created, oh, dear Lord, help us, it's created by your CEO, the senior manager, and the executive managers, Kishni. What the vision does, it provides as a framework. So every time you take a decision, every time you make a priority, every time you allocate a resource, and every time you do something as an employee, it's about gearing and contributing to the vision. So you have to know that. No, that's fine. I know this is rubbish. You don't have to worry about that, Nathan. This is absolute rubbish. And when you think of Eskom, who went and became an estate agency, became a bank, became ways of negotiating their own supply chain in terms of the Guptas. And that's why Eskom went south. So when we think of the vision, it's a very important one. I wonder whether Make America Great Again is the reason for all of this. And it'd be very interesting to see how America is at the end of this year, at the end of next year, because at the moment they are struggling. The everyday, the day-to-day living has gone up, and the average person is struggling. So when we look at leadership, one way to view leadership is from 4 different perspectives. So the first one is leadership as a person. Now, when we think of leadership as a person, and we would have done this already, but it's about characteristics, about traits. So the idea is that you are the taller, better looking, better communicator, very, very, you know, old style leadership, which goes back to a time where people were looking for heroes. Leadership is a process, and I know we've discussed this. You know, you can take certain actions and you can see leadership processes. The difference between 1 and 2 is here we believe a leader is born. Here we believe a leader can be trained to be a leader. Now, in my mind, it's a combination between the 2. Leadership as possession makes Donald Trump the most powerful person in the world. And then leadership as results is that line of sight thing, very difficult sometimes to blame a leader for not achieving what they intended to achieve and giving credit, because there's so many circumstantial things that will impact that. Georgia, that is a wonderful assessment. Imagine that we think of Trump as the controlled, insane one. It's a very, very strange way, but everything is about TV, and everything is about manipulation, and everything is about artificial rubbish. And I wouldn't be surprised, but it is a wonderful, wonderful interpretation, actually. Right, so if we look then as leadership as a person, so you can see here, these are traits, these are characteristics that essentially will define a leader, that sets a leader apart from the average person. So you can see these things. Which of those would you say would be the traits that describe Trump? Which of those would describe Trump?
Maybe self-confidence, Doc, I would say.
High
He's
levels of
very,
self-confidence. High
yeah.
levels of self-confidence. No, you don't have to just interrupt. Drive. I mean, ambition. Holy guacamole. This oak wanted to be the president when he was in his 30s already. Okay, very clear desire to lead. Yeah, self-confidence, misplaced self-confidence in my mind, because I think he's a buffoon. I think he's semi-intelligent. Others, this is the interesting one, whether he can do that within the context of America. It's driven, absolutely. I mean, the Trump watch during the lead up to his inauguration, 100,000 Rand for a Trump watch. Everything is about marketing himself. Oh, there was one thing here that I saw someone posted, and I wanted to say, where is that? Sorry, I'm trying to find it. It was about decency, and I can't remember who said it, it was such an important comment about Trump, because I think it was a question on whether you need certain morals to become a president. I mean, America would rather appoint a criminal as president than appoint their first woman. He has no integrity, no honesty. And I think the truth is they would rather have a criminal lead them than have a woman lead them. Absolutely, Kesh. I mean, yeah, go for it, Madeshan.
Well, we aren't too far from America in the sense that when we came away from the apartheid regime and the way we looked to build the country, it's exactly what Trump is promising, is giving out an ideology of, okay, we're going to take this country to greater heights, we're going to make this country better, we're going to do better. ANC, same story. We're going to do better. We're going to do better. We're going to do better. And all the promises go out there, and the self-achievement is there for themselves. And once they leave, the damage that they leave behind will take generations, years, millenniums to accomplish. And it's so hard, because back in the day when presidents and leaders were appointed, they were appointed from a religious background for the sake of honesty and integrity. And today we don't see that any longer. It's just whoever goes up there, benefits for themselves and leave.
Yeah, it's about self-enrichment, and that certainly is what we have in South Africa. I think also the cognitive ability. I don't think he is bright at all. I think he is incredibly limited. Yeah, and that's scary. I have a friend who had a Harris Waltz sign up outside her house. And when Trump won, she got messages in her postbox saying, "Now we're coming out to get you." It's insane for her. I mean, her husband's a psychologist. They are being targeted because they stuck their names next to the wrong potential leader. That is scary, though. I mean, one of the things we've seen in America, and it goes back to a court case from many years ago where a youngster was going prematurely bald and he was suing the American government because going bald means you can't be the president. America has never, ever had a bald president. So in order to be the president in America, you have to be a dude and you have to have hair. You cannot be bald. Go back to American presidents and find a single bald one. You can't be bald and be president. And that's how shallow the American society is. Nixon was balding, but wasn't bald. Think of the American presidents over time. Go try and find a bald American president. Nadia, go for it.
So are you being serious? Is that a legit
absolutely
thing?
I read that there was a court case, a youngster that went and had a court case because he was going bald early, which meant he could never be the president. He had a court case against America. Bald.
But is there actually a written law?
No, there's no written law. I think it's accepted. It's a tradition.
Yes, well, it's
Oh,
it's
gosh.
odd.
But it shows you
So-
where leadership is in the world. Sorry,
I
I'm
mean,
now going to
wasn't-
search and yeah, go for it.
Wasn't George Washington bald? Or not bald per se, but the top of his head had no hair.
Let's just see who they have. Has the USA ever had? They've only had 5, but in recent history, not 1. These are from a long time ago. There you see that guy was bald. Oh, there are a couple. Dear Lord, help us. But it was a court case around going bald and saying he could never. Yeah, well, it's artificial. It's veneer. And when you think it's side skirtings, I think it's all veneer. And when you think of leadership as a person, a lot of it is veneer. It's a lot to do with what you can see and what you can hear and how you can act. Male pattern balding, but not fully bald. Oh my gosh, help me. Well, I can definitely be American president because I've got great hair still. So that's why I've been clinging on to my hair. Help us. Okay, other things, knowledge of the business. Now, everyone will tell you that Trump is this amazing businessman, but he's not. I mean, what created the impression that he was an amazing business plan was The Apprentice. He had gone insolvent multiple times. He had run businesses into the ground. He got loans from his dad. And honestly, he's gone insolvent 5 or 6 times. So he is not a great business person. He doesn't know about the economy. We know that these kinds of yeah, I think so, Deirdre, but apparently it's not a toupee. I can't think this deep about anything, but the truth is it's veneer. All of this is veneer. Sorry, I lost train of thought there. So leadership as a process is really what we're doing here. We can teach you how to be a leader. That's it, Neil. That's it. We can teach you how to be a leader. And the simple truth is you can look at best practices. You can look at theories on leadership. You can go and read books about how famous and very successful CEOs lead. Oh, absolutely, Junaid, 100%, because it's the veneer again. It's the artificial bits that we create. So in terms of leadership as a process, so here we are less concerned about how tall and how good looking you are, because there are leaders that contradict the idea that your traits or your characteristics or leadership as a person is what makes a leader. And think of Mahatma Gandhi, for example. He was a smaller guy, but really just had this phenomenal ability to take people in a particular direction. So leadership is a process. So here we act differently as leaders to others. So there's this expectation that there is this space between the followers and the leaders, and we'll question that a little bit later in this course when we start looking at critical theory. The second one is leadership depends on context. If, for example, now imagine we're in a real classroom. If we're sitting in a real classroom and I'm in front of the classroom, if a fire breaks out at the back of the classroom, it would be expected of me to be quite authoritarian. It would be expected that I would look at the context and I would tell you to get out of there. But if I had to move an assignment date earlier, for example, it would be more participative. We would negotiate, we would talk, it would be more inclusive. And I also think that leadership depends on where you find yourself. I think you have to adjust your leadership style and the best practices that you have to the context, to the realities of the organization that you're in. Who has moved between organizations in the past and realized that they had to adjust their leadership to the organization's culture? Give me examples of that. Because it can't be similar to a Lego block that you just block into an existing culture. You have to adjust your leadership style in terms of what the followers and what the culture actually expect from you. Leadership is position, and you can see there, leaders obviously sit at the highest level in an organization. So when we think of the title of CEO, you have to, in terms of CEO, definitely have that kind of status that goes hand in hand with the title. Who aspires to be a CEO one day? Who aspires to that level of in the organization, that level of position in the organization? Yashna, you're going to be a CEO one day. Well done. Anyone else aspire to that? Yeah, Mondley. Yeah, the one thing we know about CEOs is that if you want to earn big bucks, that's the title that you have. Okay, wonderful. Michal, yes, own business, absolutely. Hopefully one day. Yeah, you see, for me, I think that would be the worst thing that could ever happen to me. I would absolutely dread having that position. I quite like being a worker and just contributing in multiple ways. I'm not a big fan of position and title. Oh, Nadia, that's not the end of the world. I don't have entrepreneurial flair, but what I do have is the ability to learn and apply my skills in different areas. And that's the way to think of your future. Guys, and then also, what does it give us? It gives us power. These are people that can allocate resources. These are people that can use their power to favor certain individuals and disfavor other individuals. And it's the idea of direction and control. I think often people who aspire to those levels of leadership positions want to be large and in charge. And when we think of large and in charge, that is Donald Trump. He likes the spotlight. He likes to feel important. And that's why when people deal with him, they yeah, there's this awful word, but that it's obsequious, behavior that's obsequious. You can look up what obsequious is. Now, possibly I'm going to misspell it, so I'm going to not look for obsequious, where people have to suck up to him, and that's not really the technical term you want to write in your exam, but it is. You have to constantly remind him how fantastic and how important and how revered they are, and that's Donald Trump. So if you want anything from him, yeah, I can't say this because I'm being recorded, but it has to do with smoke and blowing smoke somewhere. You can let your imagination run on that one. But that's what gets you into favor with Trump. And yeah, anyone wants to define obsequious for me? If you can stick it in here. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, and also what I find interesting is after the announcement that Afrikaans farmers can find their way to America, there was a march in Pretoria, and the Afrikaners wore MAGA t-shirts, Make Afrikaners Great Again. I thought that was pretty funny. Unfortunately, I'm not the kind of Afrikaner that they would want there. I think they think I might be too English for them. Guys, and then leadership as results. This is a difficult one. Can we hold a leader responsible for achieving certain results? Now, whether it's profitability, whether it's return on equity, whether it's customer service ratings, I think you all have done stuff on the balanced scorecard. It's very difficult to maintain, and that's why I used this slide, that kind of line of sight, because there are so many factors that impact what an organization achieves. And it's difficult to secure that line of sight. Some people will come into an organization when the environment is just magic. The economy is booming, customers have money, and your products and services are sought after. And then you hit a recession, and that same leader would look far less competent. So leadership as results is an interesting one. And I think I've asked it in the assignment as well. And I'd love to see your discussion of that and your interpretation of that. Yeah, I think the reality is organizational success has to do with a lot more than just that individual leader's influence. Guys, so if we look at leadership and power, I'm not a big fan of power. I don't aspire to power. I don't expect that people must revere me. It's not who I am. You know, I quite like the power that comes from your studies and your abilities and your competencies. So when we think of power and position and leadership and power, they go hand in hand. Trump has significant power. One of the and I'm trying to remember now. I think it is in California, the Republic of California, they didn't want to follow the rules in DEI. So Trump immediately stopped their federal funding. It's that kind of power and that kind of ability to bully that often will allow leaders to get away with murder. And then the second one, it comes from your position and it then comes from your resources. I mean, a leader has the ability to allocate resources in any way they want. You would have done this in second year as well as first year BMNG, those of you that studied with us. Those of you that studied with us, the different bases of power, informational power, which is an interesting aside, people who have access to the right information, the ability to share that information, the ability to have people come to you because of your knowledge about what happens in the world, definitely is a way of attaining power. Reward power, I think if you think of Trump and The Apprentice, you know, his reward is when he appoints you, you get a six-figure salary, you can use the company helicopter, the company jet. That kind of reward gives you real authority in terms of another person's life. Yeah, power of coercion. Yeah, again, this is through threats, implied threats, real danger, suggested danger of against the other person. Legitimate power, again, comes from your position. And then power of expertise, people who really are knowledgeable within the context of a particular field. And then referent power, the kind of stuff that we see around charisma. If we look at those six, who in the world would be very good in terms of informational power? And I'm looking at actual individuals who have access to information, who can share information, who gets their power from information. Modi, absolutely. Yeah, Modi is a very good example, actually, Maveshan, because he, despite not ever getting a majority, remains in charge of India. I often think people who work for CNN, the news broadcasters, there's a lot of power because they see things that other people never ever see. Reward power, and again, it's Trump. He uses it significantly. Coercion, other than Trump, give me examples of leaders who default to coercion in order to get other people to behave in a particular way, to influence. Putin, yeah, Putin is a wonderful example of that. Russia, yeah. And then Kim Jong-un, the North Korean guy. I mean, he shoots rockets across Japan to show how important they are. Yeah, no, he's North Korea. Kim Jong-un is North Korea. Others that use power to threaten, to coerce, to cajole people into doing things they normally wouldn't consider doing. Trump fits into that, obviously, as well. I think there are lots of those people in organizations still. Has anyone worked with somebody or worked currently with somebody who uses coercion to influence? Do those people still exist in organizations? Geez, you see, Georgia, I would hope they don't, because these people should have been worked out of the system. Your boss, yeah, I don't respond well to that. I really don't respond well to that. Legitimate power makes Trump the most powerful. No, it is. It's bullying. Yeah, that's what it is, Junaid. Oh my word, Deirdre. See, I love those kinds of people because they bring out the best in me because I don't don't back down. I have really no intention to back down to anyone. But I suppose when you're Afrikaans, that's what happens. Oh man, it's actually quite sad to see this, that people still work with people who threaten. Well done, Deirdre. I have a lovely Afrikaans word, but I can't say it because I'm being recorded. Legitimate power, obviously Trump, the most powerful person in the world. Power from expertise. Give me an example of people whose expertise make them powerful. Yeah, innovation. I don't consider I adopt a scorched earth policy when somebody tries to bully me. Sam Altman. Who's Sam Altman? The World Health Organization. Who is Sam Altman, Neil? Okay, CEO of OpenAI. Yeah, no, I mean, that's without a doubt. Yes. And then I think of Bill Gates. I think we underestimate how truly intelligent Bill Gates is and how he has this real positive intention in terms of what happens in the world. I mean, obviously, Mark Zuckerberg would fall into it. Yes, Elon Musk, dear goodness me, help us, would fall into it. Mark Zuckerberg, I did say that. There's several of those people. And then world leaders, business leaders with referent power, people who are truly charismatic. I always think Richard Branson. For me, Richard Branson just exudes charisma. Others, and again, for me, it's someone like Barack Obama. I still believe that Barack Obama is the best leader of the 21st century. Who is Mukesh Ambani, Maveshan? Justin Trudeau, absolutely, Georgia. There are a couple of those guys that are very good. I'm the biggest fan of Barack Obama. It's just there's something about him. There's an inherent decency, there's an inherent level of honesty and integrity that we've not seen in the American president. Kamala Harris, absolutely as well. I mean, Kamala was never going to be the president. Do you think America will ever be run by a woman? Be honest. Well, America, yeah, it's a patriarchal society. NVIDIA, okay, I kill. Yeah, no, it's never going to happen. Do you think South Africa would ever have a female president? Yes, I saw that. I saw that, Nadia. Same story. We're a patriarchal society. We're not going to have a female president. I mean, yeah, not anytime soon. I agree with that. And it's because of the patriarchy that we have. Referent power, charismatic power. So if we look at, and I'm not going to discuss it, you can read these, we've gone through it. There's a bit of a discussion here. In terms of this coercive power, I think the one thing that allows it to work is that there has to be the belief that you can do something to harm me, that you can actually affect your promises. And again, bullies do it so well because often bullies have no ability to harm you, but they create that perception. And you can have a look at the others as well. Referent power, again, that kind of charismatic power. Guys, in terms of hard power, yeah, you can see there. Position and authority, obviously because of the actual place in the organization or the institution. Soft power is based on relationships. It's based on making sure that you surround yourself with wonderful people and that you share information and that there is this real sense of trust amongst people. And you can see often expert power gets trusted. Referent power goes hand in hand with the level of trust. How would you define the term trust? I'm always amazing when we use the term trust. Very few people can actually define the term trust. It's almost as if, yeah, trust is to trust someone. That's not a definition. Trust is definitely not to trust someone. How would you define the term trust? Because relationship power, soft power, has a strong ingredient of trust. To place blind faith, yeah. So it has to do with expertise. It's faith in a person. Leaving with no questions or concerns. Okay, nice. That's mine, Kesh. I quite like that definition, that the other person will have your best interest at heart. For me, that's what trust is. Absolutely, Mveshan. The formal definition is, sorry, I'll just say it, is believing that somebody would not behave in an opportunistic fashion in their interactions with you. That someone wouldn't behave in an opportunistic fashion when it comes to dealing with you. And that could be anything, from trusting a person that you lend money to, that you'll be paid back, because that's what opportunism is if you don't pay it back. So it's a belief that somebody won't. Honorable. So you guys are using a lot of the sub-elements as well. Okay, so we can see in terms of that, an interesting one, and this is very new, and we've seen leadership evolve over time. So honesty and reliability are obviously a key part of those sub-elements of trust. Absolutely, all sub-elements, wonderful. Ecological power. Anyone come across this term before? Because it's a fairly new term. It still requires a lot of research. Ecological power. It's related to possessional power. It's related to coercive power. Where did you see it before, Mveshan? I honestly, until I'd read this textbook, I'd never seen it. And my PhD is in leadership. I'd never seen this before. Yeah, well, it's an interesting one, Troy. It's a strange one because it's about manipulating someone's physical work environment. And it's almost, yeah, it does happen. It absolutely happens. But I've never seen anyone label it. And it's a strange term in terms of a label as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Georgia. Yeah, it's interesting, guys. Often, I quite like working in my own office. I'm a little bit ADHD, so me sharing an office means that I disrupt. I honestly will not work ever. So I would hate to work open plan, but often moving people into open plan offices, if it's perfect, promotes teamwork, promotes the idea of sharing ideas, promotes the idea of innovation, etc. This one is part of it. Sending people all over the place. When they annoy you, you just post them elsewhere, which is a nasty way of looking at it.
Sorry, doctor.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Yeah,
just
go
thinking
for
of just looking at this quickly. Even if you change the organization, and if you just think of Rassi Erasmus, and you just think about now creating open plan offices, if we look at that, what he's done for rugby now, and opening up in the sense of thinking of 2027, bringing in new players, going deep into his pool, not just relying on the same players, change the organization of employees' work. Cheslin Colby, for example, taking a throne, like
absolutely,
the locations of staff, the
that's
medic
a positive one.
Exactly, and the using the light and using that, there could maybe be some form of ecological power.
Yeah, I mean, Rassi is an astonishing and astute leader, an astonishing and astute coach. I think the world's got a lot to learn from it. Sorry, go for innovation.
We also saw that in the English Premier League team, Liverpool, when Jurgen Klopp came into being the head coach. He brought with him his own department of coaches and stuff. But the main focus in being there was to change the environment and the way that they worked. in terms of moving things around and not having them follow the same process over and over again. And he done that with all the facilities and the youth leagues and everything. And that's where all the players grew from. That's the majority of the team that is current came from his hard work that he's put into the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. To just say, guys, and when we think of regular staff, I find that as a form of bullying, actually. And then, the organization of the employee's work, where you empower an employee, where you give them more authority, where what would have in the past been done by the manager, giving that to them as well. And oh, so sorry, because here comes freaking the drawing again. But the one way that we see organization of work change in modern organizations is in traditional organizations, you'll have a job description and you'll have a list of duties that you have to perform. The modern way in terms of organizing work is to say, we want you to build this. We don't really care how you go about it, and we want you to do it within a specific time period. Anyone work in that kind of organization where you're told what to achieve, but they don't care how you achieve it? Because that's very modern. Absolutely. Oh, no, I mean, that's so true. But to me, it's a form of bullying. Oh, Misha, where's that? Goodness me, that's impressive. Okay. Misha, where do you work? Real Promotions, yeah. See, my older kid writes AI, and they tell them that the AI must do this, and they don't care how they create it, and often there are no best practices because they invent all the time. Neil, where do you work and what do you do?
I work for an FMCG company.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
And you, go for it. In your job title?
Category manager, sir.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, you have
Very
what
cool.
your JD is, but you allowed to go and create new ways of working. And
so you
the
still
world is
have
changing.
a JD. You still have a JD though. So you still got that.
Yeah, not really. It's there, but it's only there if you stuff up.
Okay. Misha, go for it.
Hi, sorry, Henny, I couldn't find my mouse and unmute myself.
I can't find my pen normally.
Yeah, so I work for Real Promotions, but my boss is quite the entrepreneur. So he basically built a music studio and told us as a team, like, okay, make it work. Like, this is the end goal, do it. And same with marketing. They were like go through all the AI systems and see how we can utilize AI instead of adding extra resources.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Who is still on a traditional, has a job description, carry out the duties as per your job description? I'm trying to make my voice sound as boring as hell. Who's still on that? Misha, put your hand down. Nadia, oh, she's today. Yeah. I wouldn't want to work in a place like that.
So
okay, in between, go, Nadia.
I think it's just the industry I work in. Retail has pretty standard practices because Specsavers is part of the retail industry.
Yeah.
There is a certain way to do most things. You can only do certain things according to Specsavers policies and stuff. What does annoy me about Specsavers is it's still very bureaucratic. At a practice, it's you, the other frontliners, the practice manager, and the optometrist. But whenever you need to contact head office, it's such a bureaucratic process. And there's like such a disconnect between the two because when patients complain about a practice, they complain to head office. And then head office, I suppose what's nice is they do contact you, but what sucks is they're not there when the situation occurs. So I feel like head office can be a little bit biased when it comes to patient complaints.
Yeah, but yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, for me, I think we're expected to do certain things, but I really don't care what the guidelines are in terms of lecturing. I do my thing. I think, yeah, Sarah, you see, but I think public companies, in particular public companies who are in highly competitive industries and highly changeable industries, can't be on a job description system. They might be more roles, but people have to start transitioning to, you make this happen. You can be very transparent in terms of the processes that you follow in terms of getting there. But it is a good point, Sarah. Kesh? Okay. Geez, yeah. You see, and the problem with job description companies is they have this magic term, and it's such an awful term. I hate it. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this. It's called Sodamba. Sodamba, such other duties as may be assigned. I don't know if you've ever seen that, and that often happens when you have a job description. Goodness me. Oh my word, Microsoft 2007. Yeah, but you don't want to reinvent the wheel. But if you are cutting edge and you're pushing technology, it's very difficult when there's nothing in place. There is no wheel. But the Sodamba thing often happens when you have, does anyone have that in their job description? Oh, I hope not. So guys, in terms of this ecological power, very, very new. It really is where you work, how you work. In fact, the city, whether you're in an office and not in an office. Yeah, rather punch the computer than your boss, though. I think you'll be fired far more quickly if you punched your boss. No, absolutely. You don't introduce change overnight. It's a transition process. Okay, guys, who is part of an open plan office, just as an interesting aside? Sarah, Edward, Nivesh, and oh, yeah, I'm too distracted for that. Yeah, but it is the modern way. Okay, guys, I'm also very lucky that I do a lot of work from home, and that's the dream for me. Oh, Jaden, oh my gosh, okay. Right, guys, thank you very much for this evening. Good luck with your presentations later. I hope it goes well. I'm not going to ask you to do presentations. We do my lectures this way. Are you okay with it?
Happy.
Okay, perfect. Guys, thank you so much for this evening. Please look after yourself. Do your honors research document, guys. Please, please, please. Tammy is getting panicky and I'm getting panicky. Cheers, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Cheers, everyone.